morning, travelers. We are pleased to have you join us this morning. We would like to welcome you to the Forest of Life. The Great Spirit created this forest, and it is a home for all living creatures.
This is a place of love and unity, and all who dwell here live in harmony and work together to care for the forest. We invite you today to come take a break from your journey and rest in our forest.
Please join me in reading our morning reading. This day and every day we give thanks to our Creator for the beauty and majesty of our forest home. We begin this day with open hearts that are ready to hear the words and wisdom of our great teachers. We ask to be filled with knowledge and ability to care for the forest, helping the good spirit of the forest to the entire world.
Good morning. Welcome to the Forest of Life. I invite you to take a journey in our forest today with our young people, and we're going to start by music.
We invite those who are able to join us in standing and singing Morning is Broken.
Again, I'd like to welcome you to our forest today. I'll share more later, but every part of our service today has come from the minds, the hearts, the hands of our young people. So we've been learning a prayer in our forest, and it's a prayer for our forest. I invite our forest creatures and our teacher to come here. Our forest creatures, come on out, forest creatures. And right here, come on right here, everybody. All right, teacher, I need you to come on down because you're going to share. Stand up, stand up, stand up. We've got to share everyone. So we have been learning a prayer, and because one of our wonderful teachers in the forest knows sign language, she's been teaching it to us in sign language. So can we have the prayer up on the screen? All right, we're going to invite you all to learn with us. So first, our teacher's going to teach everybody. and then we're going to say it as a group. So remember as you can, we're going to watch our teacher. So we're going to start here. So she's going to start us. So I'm going to put the mic down now. Enjoy.
Then he told the many this in things in parables, saying, a farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky places where it didn't have much soil. It sprang out quickly because the soil was shallow.
Sorry, we're having a little difficulty here.
But when the sun came up, the plants were scorched and they withered because they had no root. Other seeds fell among thorns, which grew up and choked the plants. Still other seeds fell on good soil, where it produced a crop 160 or 30 times what was sown. However, whoever has ears, let them hear.
Inch by inch, row by row, I'm gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warn them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Pulling weeds and picking stones, we are made of dreams and bones. I feel the need to grow my own, 'cause the time is close at hand. Grain for grain, sun and rain, I'll run my way in nature's chain. I tune my body and my brain to the music of the land. Inch by inch, row by row, I'm gonna make this garden grow. it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. So plant your rows straight and long and temper them with prayer and song. Mother Earth to keep you strong if you give her love and care. Now old crow watching hungrily from his perch in yonder tree. In my garden I'm as free as that feather thief up there.
Everybody now,
Inch by inch, row by row, I'm gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down.
We welcome all of the travelers who have joined us today and hope you are enjoying your time in the forest. The forest of life is a special place. It is what Scripture describes in the parable of the sower as good soil. This forest is created and centered in love. It has dark, rich soil, which allows the grass to grow tall and wild, and the trees and the flowers to blossom. The forest is alive with the sights and sounds of nature and is filled with all the colors of the rainbow. The air is crisp and clean, and the waters are clear and free-flowing. The forest is home to a vast quantity of plants and wildlife. It provides for all creatures and creates a tranquil, nurturing, and safe shelter and habitat where they can commune with their Creator and grow closer to each other and the Great Spirit.
The forest also produces a wide variety of food for all its inhabitants. The creatures of the forest had many choices of wonderful things to eat. Many of the animals especially love a special fruit called the waterberry. The waterberry is unique because of its large size and rainbow coloring. This berry grows all over the forest and is a favorite of the animals because it is delicious and it is filled with so many nutrients. It would give them energy that lasted the whole day.
All the creatures loved their forest home and knew it was a gift from their Creator. They all have love in their hearts for their Creator and treat their gift with the greatest care and respect. They all work very hard to preserve and sustain the forest's natural beauty and resources.
In the heart of a forest is a very special tree. It is called the living tree. Every day, all the inhabitants of the forest would gather around the living tree to hear her share the feelings of the great teacher.
She shared with them the teachings and the stories about gratitude, sharing, and happiness. She taught them the greatest commandment, which is to love the Creator with all their hearts and minds, and the second commandment, which is to love our fellow beings as ourselves. Yes, even the people we don't like. And the way to love the people is to share with them the fruits of the Spirit, which are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control.
All of the animals loved to listen to the tree and hear the teachings of the great teacher. They each had a favorite teaching and would like to take turns sharing their favorite message.
Love the Great Spirit with all your heart, soul, and mind.
Love your enemies. Do good to them and share without expecting to get anything back. Be kind, soft-hearted, forgiving to one another as the Creator forgives us.
May the God of hope fill you all joy and peace and be loving, so that by the power of the great Spirit ye may abound in hope.
Because all the creatures of the forest follow the teachings of the great teacher, they all live in peace and harmony and happiness. However, the forest did not encompass all the earth, and just on its border was a dark canyon, and in that canyon lived a large cluster of angry weeds.
The weeds were angry because they did not like their home in the canyon. They lived in the rocky and shallow ground described in the parable of the sower. The weeds lived in the dark crevices in the canyons. They hardly ever felt the warmth of the sun or the refreshing rain. Because of this, the ground was hard and dry, and the soil lacked any nutrients.
The weeds were jealous of the forest and all its inhabitants because they too wanted to live in dark, rich soil full of nutrients so they could grow deep, firm roots and bloom into beautiful flowers.
Because they were not taught to speak messages of love, kindness, and sharing, over time the weeds grew to be jealous of the forest and everything that lived in it, and their jealousy made their thoughts turn ugly and mean. They began to plot ways to disrupt, disturb, and maybe even destroy the forest. The weeds had grown into bullies and thought since they could not live in the forest, nothing and no one should. The animals and the flowers in the forest knew about the weeds in the canyons and how they felt about their forest home. When they learned that the weeds wanted to cause them harm, they were afraid and wondered, what should they do? In their wondering, they remembered one of the messages of the living tree that taught them, which said,
Do good. Let us not grow tired of doing good and sharing love, for in time we will reap what we sow. And if we do not give up, so then, as we have the opportunity to let us do good to everyone, and especially those who are in the household of faith.
They all thought that this was a good lesson and began to look for opportunities to share their goodness and care for the weeds.
One day, when the weeds were plotting against the forest, One of the weeds thought that she really was not mad at the inhabitants of the forest, and then realized that she was sad because she really did not want to be weeds, and she wanted to be a flower, but didn't know how to change.
She began to think of what she could do to change, and her first thought was perhaps she could sneak into the forest and see what it was like. So one day, crept away from the other weed, and slowly and carefully entered into the forest. She was there more than a few minutes when she met many of the forest's animals, and suddenly she was very frightened.
The forest animals, however, were not scared. They were really excited to meet the weed because they knew this was the opportunity they'd been hoping for. They welcomed the weed and brought her into their forest and shared water berries with her. They took her to listen to messages of the living tree, and that night they all gathered and they taught her their favorite song.
The animals told her that she and the other weeds are welcome to come and live in the forest with them. The weed was overcome with joy when she heard this, and she rushed back to the canyon to tell the other weeds the good news. Run.
At first, the weeds were reluctant and did not want to accept the invitation, but the weed was so insistent and kept describing what a wonderful place the forest was. They finally agreed to go, and they were very glad they did, for they all received the same loving welcome, enjoyed the delicious waterberry, listened to the messages of the living tree, and learned the song that filled their hearts with hope and light. In the forest of life, the weeds found love and were able to grow into beautiful flowers.
In your bulletin it says musical melody, but right now we're going to take a walk in the forest and then we'll sing again. I hope you've been enjoying your time in our forest. We've had a lot of good time creating it. Oh, well, hold those, because we're going to get the people back up. I'm glad, I'm feeling you, that's great. Now, as I said, everything that you've seen and heard so far and will continue to hear has come from the minds and the hearts and the mouths of our young people who also suggested, Dean, that our forest should sound like this. If technology is our friend. I love it. Oh, let's turn it up just a little bit. Can you hear the forest? We're going to take a walk in that forest. Whatever you have going on after church, whatever you walked in with, it's going to be there. And God will be with you. Right now I invite you just to relax. To close your eyes. Imagine maybe even your favorite forest at a favorite time. Or maybe our beautiful forest right here. I'm going to stop talking and give you guys a minute to just go and enjoy, and then I'll guide us in prayer. Loving Creator, Great Spirit, Almighty God, Mother, Father, this is your forest, and we thank you. For the beautiful sounds of the birds, of the water, of the wind, of the trees. We thank you. This forest exists all over our world. And we thank you. Our forest knows no judgment, knows no boundaries. It knows no restrictions. Our forest is centered in love, in harmony, in unity. Through all the people that live in our forest, we can keep it growing. We can take the flowers that we all are, our beauty, our gifts, our heart, and we can share it. We can share it where there's darkness. We can share it where there's canyons that receive no light. We can share it with the weeds of our world. We share love in our words and our actions. We share kindness by opening ourselves and receiving new people and being ready to receive the newness that comes back. We ask for these beautiful sounds of nature. Speak to us, Great Creator. Talk to our hearts and help us learn and know and grow how we can continue to share this forest with the world. How we can be a beautiful flower and share it with a weed and make that weed a beautiful flower, because you are inside that weed just as much as you are inside the flowers. Help us bloom. Help us be the flower you know we can be. As we share love with our world, and we grow this forest to be everywhere. Join me in heart and mind with Amen. Amen. As I hopefully have you all relaxed and have had a walk in the forest, no one wants to get up. So please stay seated. Oh, I'm seeing this. I like this. Please stay seated as we sing As the Deer.
We thank all the travelers for visiting us today, and we hope that you're enjoying time in our forest. We ask for you to consider helping support our forest by making a donation. By supporting the forest, you are helping all its inhabitants to thrive and grow. In the forest, we learn about the Creator and the great teachers. In the forest, we are all treated as equally important and encouraged to love and believe in ourselves. In the forest, our opinion matters, and we are given many opportunities to let our light shine. Thank you for supporting us.
Thank you very much. As we come to a time of feast, in our forest, we have waterberries. Why do we have waterberries? Because one of our young people thought we should have waterberries. As we were creating and we're making this forest and we're making all the things, one of our young people, as we're talking animals, what should be in the forest? And Oliver said, we need to have waterberries. And I said, well, start working on them. And he started painting, and we've come up with these beautiful, created waterberries. They're colorful. And I said, now what are they going to do, Oliver? What's special about the waterberries? Well, if you eat them, he said, they give you all the nutrition you need for a whole day. And they're full of hydration, and they're full of sweetness, and they're the best berry ever. I was like, wow, we got to start growing waterberries. So that's what we have in our forest to share. Now, we haven't quite created waterberries. You'll recognize our delights we have, but our forest provides for us. May I have our forest helpers, please? And you'll see, oops, there we go, there's one. And you'll see some very simple, familiar things our forest produces. We've got our grapes, and we've got our bread. Then pass one more, and then one more of our bread. It's a very familiar meal. Why don't you guys come right here? It's a very familiar meal, hopefully in a very familiar setting. Our great teacher has prepared this meal for us. Our great teacher says, whenever you gather together to be in love, to be in sharing, you gather with me. Every time you partake of this meal, you do it with me, for me, inspired by, to have it fill you. To have it fill you with love, with strength, with whatever you need at the time. We invite you all to come forward and to share of our wonderful meal in our forest and be fulfilled, be loved, be sustained. Invite you, we'll play some music, and as our rows come forward, this is hopefully a very familiar feeling for everyone. Please come join us in our feast. should our slide say meet the forest? And before. Now is when we get to clap and yay and go, oh my gosh, these great kids. So first I'd like to invite you to meet our forest. Can we have all our forest creatures come on out, please? Come on out, come on out, come on out. And our forest helpers that are, okay, they're giving everyone communion there. Come on, there we go. Stand up first, stand up. They all got to see you. There we go. All right, now y'all can sit down because I'm going to brag on you. All right. Cameron, can you help me with the flipboard right here? All right. How did we get here? How did this forest come to be? This is what we've been doing for the past 2.5 months in Sunday school. It started with the giving tree. Do you see our giving trees here? We made, and we have one. Oh, there was one as you walked in. We made our giving tree. So we started bringing that story to life. And then, can you flip it back? Can you flip it back at the beginning? And then we took the parable of the sower. And we learned about that. And then we started talking about bringing the two stories together. And and hold it up. They're asking, hold it up because you're nice and tall. So we started with, they came up with the living tree. And I asked them questions. And my wonderful scribe, okay, first, wait. Okay, so okay, you put it down just a little bit now, Cameron. I'm going to have this out. Cameron, you can put it down. I don't want to have you hold. I'm going to put this out so you can read our story as it goes. But the beauty behind the art, can I have the artist behind the forest peek out back there? Yay! Move a little bit. So first 1 week we started talking about the living tree. And they said all the things the living tree should be. And then the next week we talked about what good soil would look like. And then the weeds. And they'd tell me all, and we'd write it down and write it down. And we started creating the story. Thank you. You can put that right there. We started creating the story. And a little bit more and a little bit more. And then we started working on the artwork. And then we started talking about music. So as I said, everything. And then we came in last Sunday and did all this. Believe me, I'm not tall enough to get up there. So this is very much a collective effort. When these wonderful young people go off and you're like, what are they doing out there? This is what they're doing. They're writing stories. They're letting their heart go. And the part about you have to love people, even the ones you don't like, straight from the mouths of. And that the weeds became bullies, that's exactly what they thought the weeds should be. And they thought how the weeds are going to come and make flowers. So all of this wonderfulness is from our young people. But we also couldn't be doing this if we didn't have some great teachers. So I would like our teachers, our sign language teacher, come on over here. And not just our sign language teacher, but Julietta, one of our amazing teachers, and one of her many gifts is signing. Very much. Jordan, Cameron, Dana, come on up here. Come on up here. Okay. Jordan and Cameron, Jordan and Dana are our staff, but they have any Sunday, what are you ready for? What do I got? What are we doing? Where are we going? And bring such great structure to it, but their art abilities is just unsurpassed. And then this wonderful person, Cameron, who decided to come to church one day with Jordan and just hasn't left. And he gets voluntold like every Sunday. So these wonderful, and someone who's not here today, Marcy Brezarich, is also a very, very important teacher in our program. So you heard the kids' voices, Dominic and Eloise. They started the service there. So I want to acknowledge our young people. And Brandon, can you help us? Do you guys see those plant arrangements back there? Brandon, look at the little back area. Brandon, can you help point them out? The three people in back, do you see? Look behind you. Brandon's going to help show you plant arrangements. Go get them. I'm talking to Elizabeth, Dana. I'm talking to Elizabeth, Anna, and Joseph. Hey, I got almost their names right. Look right there. Bring those out. Grab 4 of them. Oh, well, Julietta found her own. Okay, go give them to a teacher. So you thought they were just forest decorations. These are actually arrangements. And it's my little side thing here. So I grew all the plants and I made the arrangements. So I got lots of love going to our teachers. And we need to love our teachers, folks. So thank you. Thank you for all you guys keep doing and going. So thank you very much. All right, we can continue. We're going to bring our service to an end. And it's, you guys, I keep setting my paper down. It says closing blessing, right? Forest blessing. All right. I invite us all to stand up. I invite us all to stand up. And just imagine we're all holding hands. You're all too close. I'm not going to make you go move right now. But our forest that is alive and well here at Church of the Foothills, in our wonderful young people, in our congregation who love our young people. Not all churches can say that, and I can stand here and say, yay, I know you love our young people for what we are doing here, for what is happening here that's happening all over our world. We give thanks, we give our blessings, and we give ourselves to the forest to continue to be an instrument of peace, an instrument of love, an instrument of harmony. Let this service touch you and take it with you into our world. We're going to stand here and sing them. This is our blessing. We're going to close, and then the kids will walk out. So if we have our closing song, go for it up there and just sing away, folks.